Okay, thank you, Tom. All right, so I'm just going to read off a few of the concerns as what's going on with this audit right now. We got 4 pages. I'm not going to go through all of them.
Take your time. Go through the whole thing.
By law, the AG's office should not be involved with this audit process. They are inserting themselves every day.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest. You got it. And Edwards needs to go. There's a lack of transparency with the audit process. When I showed up on the first day, they had 4 cameras there. You couldn't see anything through the cameras. They're all supposed to be live streaming, but they have them all combined into one live stream, which they only were going to have turned on during the hours of the audit and then turn them off with our voting machines and our ballots in the room, assuring us that they're safe and protected because the doors would be locked with the guard outside. Trust but verify. They said they couldn't do the 24-hour live stream because the building didn't offer Wi-Fi access. They said there's all kinds of limitations and just, gosh, it's just too hard. I turned to Chow Kelly. Who knows Chow? This woman is a hero! This woman knows what freedom is about! I pointed to Chow Kelly and I said, she's live streaming right now, why can't you? We'll get 10 Chow Kellys in here and we'll live stream it ourselves! The forensic auditors, if you watched at all, from what little you could tell with the live stream, I'm sure you can see it looks like they had no clue how to run a forensic audit. Right. It was a shame and an embarrassment to our state. It was an insult to all of us who fought to get that in the first place. When I worked with Bob Guida and Dave Strang, we were emphasizing with all the legislators, and there's many here today who can stand up here and attest to it. Transparency was number 1. That is the bottom item on the list, if it's even on their list. Ballot boxes should always be in view. That has not always been the case. Ballots out of the boxes should always be in view. That has not always been the case. People are handling ballots off camera. People are writing on ballots off camera.
Chain of custody.
Every camera needs to have a date and time stamp. They didn't have that either. They put a date and time in front of the cameras when they shut down at night. Oh, and by the way, did you know the live stream went out a few times even after we convinced them? Thank you, Bill Gardner, Secretary of State Bill Gardner, because I gave him a list of my grievances. I don't know if any of you saw my 5-minute interview with WMUR.
Yes.
Chow Kelly recorded that at my request, and we posted that so people could see my thoughts in context, because I knew that they would only put a quote. I mean, you know, it's news, so I don't want to be mean, but I used to work in news when it was news back in the 80s, and you only usually give a soundbite or 2 to somebody, and there was a lot to say. I had just finished a conversation with Ann Edwards about a lot of my concerns, and she blew me off on all of them. Secretary Garner had come right after that, and I shared my thoughts with him, and I was pretty blunt and brutal. Him and I have formed a pretty strong relationship over the past couple months. If it wasn't for him, I don't think we'd have the forensic audit at all. I realize most people aren't happy with the way that it's going, but he was behind it 100%. He was behind letting the chips fall wherever they may be. He was behind looking at the memory cards and looking at the ballots. Just because it's not being run right now, that's on people like Ann Edwards. And that's why people like Ann Edwards need to go. They've got his people positioned that are 40, 50 feet away from the process. There's no meaningful oversight. We're supposed to be there to oversee this process. We, the people, are the government. What are you hiding from us? Why do you think you're so special that you can touch the ballots and you can run the process, but we can't be involved? It's trust but verify, and there's no verify with this process. It's minimal. If you've ever been to a hand recount process, you know that the Secretary of State's office does it really well. They encourage people to raise their hands, to open their mouths, to express concerns during the process. They stop the process. And then they address the concerns right then and there. And they don't move on until everyone at the table is satisfied that the right decision was made.
You're right.
That's the way you need to run it. In this environment up there in Pembroke, I stood up to ask a question, and I had 4 goons stand around me and tell me to sit down. And I refused. I said, the man's right here. He's willing to answer my question. You have to sit down, Mr. Eyring. You have to write your question on a piece of paper, and then they'll answer it when they can. And I said, he's right here. I'm going to ask him my question. They tried to intimidate me again, and I continued talking to the auditor because we are the government, not them. They work for us. They can pack their bags and go home. I gotta tell you, I'm not usually like this. This is God channeling through me right now. He's back! He wants some change! How about you? Are you ready for change? I'm just a mild-mannered guy, but I'm a little pissed off. How about you? I want to put this whole process in context. Okay? People are looking at this and saying, this whole process was co-opted. We lost. That's a bunch of hooey. We won. Let me tell you where we started and where we are right now. 4 months ago, a Senator Guided said there was meetings behind the scenes up in Concord. Can you hear me okay? Everyone in state government said, Windham's not getting their hands on these ballots. They're not going through the machines again. We're not doing an investigation. You're not going to know what happened in your election. And I said, that's not acceptable. And Bob Dinah said, that's not acceptable. I'm channeling Chow Kelly right now. How am I doing? Awesome! She is at every event all over the state. I have no idea how she does it. So Bob used a lot of capital, a lot of political capital. People who were against the bill behind the scenes. When it became apparent that it was going to pass, that it had a tsunami of support with the people. Because of all of you, give yourself a hand! Yeah! I had multiple people at the State House saying to me, Ken, we just want this to go away. That's what your voice means to them. We made their lives miserable, and we're going to keep making their lives miserable. People think that this process was co-opted, and it was, but that doesn't mean we lost. We won. We got those ballots, all 10,006, through all 4 machines. We now know that those machines do not produce consistent results. That means they're not acceptable for our elections. We had a hand recount, a second hand recount that finished up yesterday that validated the results of Bill Gardner's hand count on the 12th. Our selectmen and our moderators have been saying that the problem has always been up with the recount in November 12th. They've always taken the position that we don't need to worry about the machines, so we don't need to get a forensic auditor or someone qualified on the machines, and that our voices are irrelevant. So you just sit there and we'll take care of this. And to that, I have a few choice words that I won't say here on God's sacred property. Because we are not irrelevant and we are not deplorable. We are the government. How am I doing? I'm having fun. It's nice to talk to a friendly crowd. I was told earlier today I got a lot of arrows in my back. I said I don't feel them. Are there any there? God is on our side. He's putting together an army. We're riding a tsunami tidal wave. It's getting bigger every day. And this is just a division of it. We are growing across America. People have had it. People are fed up. And the fact that Trump's not in office, and the fact that the AG's office is sidetracking this audit, this is what his plan is, because people see what's going on. People are waking up. People who have been in the closet since the beginning are now saying, what the heck is going on with our government? I have to get off my butt. I have to get off the couch. I have to do this for my kids and for my grandkids. I have to do this for our country because we won't have one anymore. So that's a plus. So when I look at this audit, although I would have done it differently and much better if I might say so in my humble opinion, we got some things out of it that we want. We don't know much more than we did on November 12th. So they have what they're saying is 2 more phases in order to, finish their audit. The problem is that you got 3 guys, all from the same organization. They all know each other from verified voting, right? And up until April 29th, 2 of them were still on the website. Only one of those guys has skills to look at the machines. Where's our checks and balances? Right? Bill Gardner asked me to pick a forensic auditor. Me. I said, I don't think that's right. He said, no, Ken, I want you to pick one. Who would you pick? And I picked Colonel Phil Waldron, who did the Antrim County, Michigan, with his team, Allied Security Operations Group. And the reason why I wanted to pick Colonel Waldron is because they proved to me that if they come across something, they would not be afraid to reveal it. That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for the truth. I have never stated from the beginning, ever. No one can ever point to anything I've said or written where I have said this was the problem or that's the problem. I've always said it could be one of many things. It could be fraud. It could be a personal fraud, somebody stuffing the ballot box. It could be the machines were rigged. It could be that the machines have mechanical failures. It could be, thank you, a problem.
You need it!
It could be a problem at the recount, right? But this type of things that's going on at the audit right now with having people stand so far away, that's the kind of crap that goes on in our Windham elections, right? We have people like Phil Abirashid, who's over here somewhere, who is the chairman of the Windham GOP committee, and he had signed documents, authorized documents that said, you can be a poll challenger. You can get up close and personal and monitor this election. And he was told by our moderators, the moderators, by the way, who were saying that the problem isn't with them or their election on the 3rd, but with Bill Gardner's recount. It's funny how God brought this to you right the right time.
Right. You had that I need a drink of water sign. You're
Thank
doing
you.
a great job.
Yes, you are.
So Phil, wherever he may be, was told to stand 40 or 50 feet away. Couldn't hear what they were saying, couldn't see what they were doing. That's not acceptable. That's what we're going to fix. Later on in this program, I see there's a lot of enthusiasm out here. We are going to take back our country one town at a time, and together we will do it. I promise you. I've been doing this for 12 years, okay? My first 11 years, I had some successes. God put me through a rigorous program. I learned a lot. This year, I learned how to get it done. I know what we need to do, and we need to do it together. I can't do it alone. Tom can't do it alone. We need everybody. But together, I'm telling you,
We're
we
with
will
you.
win. And it's not going to take years. It's not going to take years. We're going to send a shockwave through the state because we are going to win every battle that we choose, because we're going to pick the battles that are right, that are just, that not only everyone in this room will sign up to help for, but that everyone else who becomes aware of what we're doing will say, I need to help, I need to be a part of this, because a vast majority of Americans are tired about what's going on. Okay, so that's a summary for the audit.
More than that.
There's a little bit more than that. I'm sorry, I got off script. Hope you don't mind. Let me try to get back to the script.
Croc TV.